Let's jump right into this explainer, because we're looking at a massive, hidden revenue leak happening right now on hotel websites everywhere. It's a classic digital transformation problem. What happens when the technology that's supposed to make booking seamless actually creates a huge roadblock for your guests, killing your business growth?
So I want you to honestly ask yourself this question. When did you last try to navigate your own booking system out in the wild? And I mean really in the wild. Not sitting on your high-speed office Wi-Fi, not on a laptop pretending to be a phone, but on a cellular network using just one thumb while you're multitasking. If it's been a while, you absolutely need to try it. Because as we're going to see, this lack of a modern, optimized digital experience is likely costing you some serious direct revenue.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. First, the mobile-friendly illusion. Then, the true cost of friction. Next, 5 high-leverage fixes. After that, auditing your mobile experience. And finally, reclaiming your direct bookings.
All right, starting off with part 1, the mobile-friendly illusion. Let's tackle a huge misconception about how modern travelers actually book their stays. Here's the raw data. 75% of travel bookings are happening right now on mobile devices. 75%! Yet, incredibly, a lot of hotel sites totally ignore this shift. They offer what's basically just a desktop site squeezed down to fit a smaller screen. And let's be real, that is not the premium, seamless digital experience today's consumer expects from a modern brand.
So, the absolutely crucial difference here is that a responsive site is not the same thing as an optimized site. Responsive design just resizes the window, right? But optimized design, that means the entire architecture is built specifically for mobile user behavior. We're talking short attention spans, one-thumb scrolling, and patchy Wi-Fi. Look, every single stage of the booking funnel is fragile. A date picker that works flawlessly with a mouse suddenly becomes a hard stop for a user trying to tap it with their thumb on a crowded train.
Moving on to Section 2, the true cost of friction. We need to talk about why this is a high-stakes revenue problem, not just some web developer's design critique.
Check out this number. Mobile abandonment runs about 2.4 times higher than desktop. Just think about that for a second. These are not casual window shoppers bouncing off your page. These are high-intent guests who actually wanted to give you money, tried to book, and just gave up because the technology failed them.
And this triggers what I like to call the reverse billboard effect. Get this, 58% of travelers say they will abandon a booking outright if the mobile experience is bad. Just imagine it. You spend all this marketing budget on beautiful premium Instagram ads. The guest taps through, gets totally frustrated by a clunky interface, and immediately bails to book that exact same room on an online travel agency, or OTA.
And when they flee to an OTA, it gets incredibly expensive for your bottom line. Direct bookings only cost you about 2 to 5% to acquire, and the guest lifetime value is 60% higher because you own that relationship. But the moment digital friction pushes them over to an OTA, those platforms eat up 15 to 30% in commissions, and suddenly you're entirely renting that customer relationship.
The conversion gaps here are just staggering. While the industry average for direct sites sits somewhere between 2.2 and 3.9%, the OTAs are out there converting at 12 to 15%. And look, a lot of that isn't just because they have higher intent traffic, it's simply because they offer a highly engineered, frictionless digital experience. The good news? You can completely replicate that with the right technology.
So, Section 3, 5 high-leverage fixes. How do we actually stop this revenue leak and drive real business transformation? Let's get into the exact steps you need to optimize that funnel.
Step 1 is a super simple operational test. You're going to time your own checkout. Disconnect from Wi-Fi, use only your phone on cellular data, start a stopwatch, and try to complete a booking in under 2 minutes. Seriously, do it today, because if it takes you longer than a minute or 2, your guests are definitely feeling that exact same friction.
Step 2 is a big one. Killing mandatory account creation. 37% of people will just abandon a mobile booking when they're forced to make an account first. Just let them check out as a guest. You can always leverage automation to ask them to create an account after they've successfully paid.
Let's hit the rest of these high-leverage fixes. First, implement one-tap payment integrations like Apple or Google Pay. This alone yields a 19% higher conversion rate because absolutely nobody wants to thumb in a 16-digit card number on a tiny screen. Next, pin your booking button so it dynamically follows the user down the page. Always ensure complete pricing transparency up front so there are no surprise drop-offs. And finally, provide a clean, visually appealing summary screen right before they confirm. All right, moving right into Section 4, auditing your mobile experience. Once you've got those quick fixes in place, it's time to dig into exactly where your guests are still getting stuck.
Now, the great news here is that fixing this rarely requires a massive, expensive, ground-up rebuild of your tech stack. It's usually just finding and removing 3 or 4 tiny friction points where people stop. They just quietly close the tab. So it's really about precision and streamlining complex processes, not starting from scratch.
So if I were auditing your site today, here are the immediate red flags I'd be looking for. Booking buttons buried under massive hero images. Heavy autoplay videos that completely destroy your load times. Clunky third-party widgets that honestly look like they were never even tested on a mobile device. And date fields that trigger the wrong smartphone keyboard. These sound like small bugs, but they literally derail the entire customer journey.
Let's knock out some rapid-fire questions I hear all the time. First, should we build a totally separate mobile site? No, you just need a modern, mobile-first responsive design architecture. What about PageSpeed? Yes, performance is absolutely critical for scalability and Google rankings. And finally, what about AI chat? Yes, for sure. AI-powered automation is incredibly effective at instantly answering stalling questions like parking rules or cancellation policies without the guest ever having to leave that crucial checkout page.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, reclaiming your direct bookings. Let's zoom out to our final takeaways and see how optimizing this tech directly builds your bottom line.
It really all boils down to this core truth. Your guests aren't choosing OTAs over you because they prefer them. Often they're choosing OTAs because your own site made booking direct harder than it needed to be, at exactly the moment they were ready to say yes. Think about that. You aren't losing because of a lack of brand loyalty. You're losing because of user friction. So I'm going to leave you with this final, vital question to ponder for your business. If your mobile checkout is actively fighting your guests right now, exactly how much commission are you needlessly handing over to OTAs today? It's time to take action. Grab your phone, run that 2-minute test, and find out if your technology is your best salesperson or your biggest obstacle. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to reclaiming your direct revenue.